Hey everyone, we just hit 100,000 subscribers and I am incredibly grateful. So in this video we're going to do something very different. I'm going to give you a behind the scenes look on my studio and how I produce videos for this channel. I published my very first video on this channel about 3.5 years ago. Back then I was working full-time as an SAP consultant and I really wanted to see how ChatGPT could be used to write things like technical specs, functional specs, or even ABAP code. This was around about the same time that ChatGPT became publicly available, but I had an interest in machine learning and AI long before then. But when ChatGPT brought the power of LLMs to the foreground, I really wanted to explore how this can be used in business use cases. Now, of course, back then, agents weren't nearly as good as writing code as humans were, so the majority of my early content were coding tutorials. Specifically coding tutorials that had some kind of AI capability in it, like building your very own ChatGPT clone all within JavaScript. I can't believe this was 3 years ago already. My very first viral video was AutoGPT. I think this is the first time that we saw an agent in action. Up until AutoGPT, working with these models were very simple. It was text in, text out. So they were really good at drafting, emails or writing prompts or lyrics, but they couldn't use tools at all. And AutoGPT was basically the first instance of an agent that I was exposed to. So in other words, the LLM could actually run in a little harness and it had access to tools for the very first time. So you could give your agent an instruction to call APIs, write files, and actually interact with the environment around it. Now, of course, if we fast forward to today, there are so many people showing you how to build very cool stuff using AI. I've always made it my mission to try and sell you the honest truth, instead of blowing everything out of proportion and overhyping things, or telling you that you can make thousands of dollars building the software. I'm not going to tell you that. I'm trying to give you a very honest view. So I'm trying to show you what's stable, what's actually working right now, and what you should be focusing your effort on, and not chasing some dream of making millions overnight. Now, I'm not trying to plug my community at all. Honestly, I would probably not recommend it for most people. If you're trying to learn how to make money overnight and chase some fictitious dream of overnight success, then this is definitely not for you. But I love the community that we've built. We've got people who actually want to learn how to build software the correct way. And that is what my channel is about. That's what I'm about. This is what my community is about. And for people who have worked with me for the last 20 years, they know that I love teaching. I love teaching others, and I love to show them the correct way. And as a matter of fact, I need to be completely honest with you here. The few times I tried to copy what other channels have been doing in terms of, grabbing something that just released and blowing it out of proportion or hyping it up or jumping on the hype train, my long-term viewers would call me out on it. And I read all of the comments, whether positive or negative. I've read a lot of negative comments that are honestly just very hurtful as well, but I try to take something constructive away with each and every one of your messages. At the end of the day, I want to provide content that's valuable to you. I love it when people tell me that they actually learned something from my videos, and I've even had people tell me they found jobs and careers or business success from watching my content as well. That to me is worth the effort. So you might be wondering what the studio actually looks like, so let me give you a tour. And this is it. So welcome to my domain. I think my setup is really straightforward. So it's very basic. I've got a chair in the background. This is where you can see that YouTube counter thing in the background with the little plant that I'm trying to keep alive. And the guitars on the background. So this is my beautiful Les Paul that I just love to play. Then, just a very basic setup. I've got an electric drum set over here that I still have to set up. And just a light. I'm mostly using it just to kind of light the background. And then this is my desk setup. So it's actually really straightforward. I've got a desktop PC that I use it's an AMD PC with an RTX 5090. It's a really cool machine with a lot of power. So this is where I run most of my local models as well. I do have a laptop with a 4070 RTX, which I use just whenever I do travel. But for the most part, this is where I do all of my recordings. So I've got a standing desk that I try to use every now and again. Because I do sit a lot, I do try to stand as much as possible. Then just to light the scene, I've got these lights, these sort of overhead lights over here. If you are curious about any of the brands or the products that I show, you can just ask me in the comments and I'll link to those in the description as well. So I've got this very popular Rode mic that every creator seems to use. I decided to go for this Logitech keyboard as it's very soft. When I first did these coding tutorials, I didn't want people to hear me typing, so I just went for the softest possible keyboard that I could find. And of course, I've got a Focusrite just as my sort of input device or audio device. I've got a Stream Deck that I use just to change the camera angles, and then a sort of a widescreen curved monitor. And on the right side, I've got a vertical monitor that can actually swivel. It can go horizontal as well, but I do find it useful just to have sort of a monitor that's upright that I can stack things on top of. So that's really the setup. I've got a webcam here as well. This is a 4K Elgato webcam. And then I do have the Sony a7R III camera as well, which I actually don't use as much. And then just in the background, I've got this sort of acoustic padding just to kind of eliminate echo during the recordings. So the nice thing about these lights, especially this light in the background, is I can change the color and the effects that it uses. This is really my setup for running a 100K subscriber channel. Alright, so let me show you my process for actually doing research. I've had a lot of people ask me how I actually manage to stay on top of what's going on in this rapidly moving AI space. So let me show you. Look, firstly, I love this stuff. I completely geek out of it. I can't stop talking about it. If my parents call me or my friends call me, it's all I can talk about. So this really is a passion of mine. And I do believe that if you're passionate about something, you'll find resources, you'll find people to talk to, you'll find people to follow online. But let me just share with you my workflow. Now, of course, I like to use agents to do a lot of research for me. Now, of course, this has changed over the years as new tools become available. A year or so ago, I used N8N Workflows to assist me with this, and then I sort of moved everything over to my own custom platform and agent. I tried using Hermes and OpenClaw for a while, but recently I've just kind of settled into using Cowork, and it's really not flashy at all. I basically have two jobs that I run every morning. So at around 7 a.m., I've got this little good morning task that runs, and let me just quickly read this. I did recreate it, so it used to be called something else, but I just, recreated it as good morning. So I haven't run this one for too long, but one of the previous ones, like the AI research one, I've actually been using for a very long time. Right, so for the good morning task, it's very simple. Now, I don't have many or any employees working for me. It's basically just myself, and my wife helps me with a lot of video editing, especially for the school community. So I need to automate all the trivial work as much as possible. So this morning task helps me with a lot of that. This task will go online and look up for any new tools or updates to the tools that I cover on my channel, like Claude Code or Codex or OpenCode, whatever else. This tool also has access to the vidIQ MCP. Now, for those of you who aren't content creators, vidIQ is a very popular tool or framework or platform that content creators can use to perform research on keywords, outliers, competitors, etc. So they've actually exposed an MCP server that you can hook up to any agent, and your agent will then be able to do that analysis work for you. So this prompt will do a couple of things. So it will research any important agentic coding news from the last 48 hours, and it will perform research on my YouTube channel using those vidIQ tools. So then this needs to give me a report on my current channel health, lessons learned from the previous videos that I've published, the next video ideas, and like a list of videos that perform well in my niche. So this could be based on competitors or outliers. Then this task can also help me come up with post ideas for my school communities, as I do try to share the research that I just did. I mean, this is still valuable information. I try to share the news updates with the community as well. And then in terms of researching certain resources, of course, like I mentioned, we can use the vidIQ tool to perform any YouTube-related research. And then, of course, we can use online resources to look up any updates from any of these providers or tools that I use. I've also listed a bunch of websites as well. Now, if you are a small business, another task I definitely recommend you set up, especially if you're using something like Cowork, is to respond to emails on your behalf. When I quit my job and went into YouTube full-time, I realized that I actually end up spending a lot of time responding to emails. Now, this could be possible business opportunities, it could be partnerships or sponsors. So I found myself like constantly, having back and forth conversations with all of these entities, and some of them go nowhere, right? So you discuss the rate, they try to negotiate a discount, and eventually you discuss terms, and sometimes those just kind of fall through the ground. They go nowhere, which is understandable. But from my point of view, I just lost, at least 4 hours a day only responding to emails. So what I did instead is I trained an agent based on my procedures, my policies, my non-negotiables, the rates, the potential discounts, and I had the agent look at previous conversations that I've had to get a feel for the tone and the types of responses that I would send and pick up some of the edge cases. And all of that information went into this prompt. So now this agent will run every morning at 7 a.m., look at my entire inbox, filter out any emails related to partnerships, and it will negotiate on my behalf until it gets to a point where we're pretty much ready to sign, or if it's a high quality lead that I need to take over and continue with. So even if you're not into content creation, this is still super, super valuable. I do go on X a lot as well, but that's mainly to get updates from the actual providers like, Anthropic or OpenAI Dev. So I don't really follow any individuals, but I do try to follow the companies that I'm interested in. Then one of the creators I like to follow is Cole Meaden. I like his content because it's very sort of technical, but he likes to show you what's possible with building agent harnesses and, advanced solutions using AI yourself. He's not trying to sell you some kind of get-rich-quick scheme, and it's not part of the creator economy. So I really like his content a lot. Another creator that's very similar to my channel that teaches agentic coding is WebDev Cody. He also started with a very technical channel where he was teaching coding tutorials, and of course recently he's also pivoted to using AI agents, but keeping that developer mindset. If you want to learn how to build real-world software, this is the guy that you need to watch. Then I also like watching Matt Wolf stuff. Now, I need to be very brutally honest. I'm sorry, Matt, if you are watching this, but I didn't like his content at first. When he was publishing like every day and kind of putting all of these hype videos out, like every day, it's the new greatest thing, and he was getting so excited over it. At some point, it just got very hard to kind of believe him and follow his channel. But recently he shifted to only doing weekly news updates, and I actually enjoy those. So the stuff that he covers is really useful. Now, this could be the developer in me, but I still like NetNinja stuff. So he's still really trying to focus purely on coding tutorials, and I know what that's like now. You can see from his views, he's barely getting any views now, and it's such a shame. And I think anyone in my space who used to create coding content can kind of relate to this. People are just not watching coding tutorials anymore, and it's such a shame. I think we're over-relying on the coding agents to make the right decisions without really understanding the underlying code. And I think there's still value in learning how to code. So if you want to just spend a little bit of time learning how to code as well, NetNinja is fantastic. I love their channel. Now, this is a little bit different to watching coding tutorials, but if I want to switch my brain off, I'll actually just watch Tef. I don't know if that's the right way to mention your name, but I enjoy this content. So it's kind of brain dead. You'll put different models against each other in a video to try and build games or some very silly situation. And all that this is very entertaining and kind of funny. You can actually pick up from this what models are good at certain tasks, especially tasks that need creativity and an understanding of 3D space. Alright, so what does my content creation pipeline actually look like? So this is actually the fun part for me. I love creating content. So every morning when I run this Good Morning report, I'll get a lot of very cool information from this. So this report will obviously have a look at my channel, it will have a look at my last 5 videos, and figure out what is working in my current niche, and it will give me a list of video ideas. Now, admittedly, I don't always create videos based on these recommendations, but sometimes it will show something or point me in a direction that I didn't think about. Like it will say that OpenCode and Olama is still the engine. And this specific video on my channel added like 2,000 views in the last day. So this is a very active video and clearly it's working for my audience. Now, again, this is actually coming from vidIQ, and I'm sorry if this is feeling like a plug for them. It's not. I'm not sponsored by them at all. I'm just being honest with you. That's the tool I use to get this information. Now, if you do want to try vidIQ out, I did ask them for an affiliate link. So they just created this page for me, which I'll link to in the description of this video. And they're offering you guys a 30-day trial at only $1. So if you're interested, give it a shot. All right, so this is also telling me what other videos are currently working for my competitors. So like this video just got 430,000 views, and I'm getting some signal information here. It's a 166x breakout for this channel average. So I would then typically look into some of these videos to get ideas from them, or I'll just have a look at the news from the last 48 hours to see if there's like any new tool or any new feature, etc. So from this, let's say that I want to create a video on this topic. Now what I can do in Claude is just, create a new session, and let's do something like, hey Claude, I would like to potentially create a video on the following topic. Please help me with the packaging. So what I really need is the intro, the hook, and a few title ideas. All right, then let's just paste in that little concept over there. Now, for a lot of creators, this is where they would kind of leave it. But I like to kind of base everything I do on facts. So since we've got access to that vidIQ, tool and all that analytics, I can also say something like, please do not guess what the keywords should be. Please use the vidIQ tool to retrieve any keywords related to this topic and find any keywords that have high search volume. Then try to formulate your titles around that. Then use the Analyze tool to score these titles and give me the top 2 titles that score over 80%. All right, let's send that in. So just to show you, if we go to connectors, this is what I've got available. I've got Claude connected to my Gmail account, to Google Drive, vidIQ, and of course Chrome. All right, so what Claude actually did is just verify that the feature is actually live and it's there. A lot of this behavior could also be based on the memory that I've asked Claude to save in the past. So whenever Claude does something right, I'll actually ask it to remember this behavior and to commit it to memory. And now Claude is using this vidIQ tool just to do some keyword research. There's no point in creating a video with absolutely no search intent, right? And man, I know this is starting to seem like a vidIQ plug, but it's really not. A lot of creators just use the tool. All right, so Claude just came up with a bunch of keyword candidates. And that's the thing, I used to just kind of guess the titles, and my titles never did really well. I then tried to go with the age-old tradition of just saying, create a title that's less than 50 characters. It needs to have one power word, and it needs to have at least one keyword. Sometimes they work well, but I think they kind of missed that emotional hook or something that would get people to click. So I don't know. I've been trying this for the last few videos and they seem to be doing well. All right, so here we go. Claude is now saying that here are our contenders. So the highest scoring title at 92% is this one. Claude Code sub-agents can now spawn their own sub-agents. So I don't know. What do you guys think about these titles? Would you have clicked on any of these? So maybe let me know. Which one of these would have worked for you? And now that we've got our title ideas, we can create our hook. So these hooks are really important because that's sort of the opening line in your video. And you kind of have to hook people in to keep them watching. Now, to be honest, I hardly ever stick with these recommended hooks. I'll read it out loud. If it doesn't sound right to me, I'll just kind of do my own thing. But I'm really trying to form a discipline around writing hooks. So also, if I read the hook out loud and it doesn't seem right to me, I'll ask Claude just to make any sort of adjustments. But once I've got the hook and the intro, I do like to create the thumbnail as well. It just makes it easier when I finally go to upload the video to already have all of this metadata available, so I don't have to faff around trying to figure out what the title should be and how the thumbnail should look. That just completely stresses me out. So getting this out of the way up front gives me a very good idea of what the tone of the video will be while I'm recording it. Now, I must admit, creating thumbnails is really hard. For a long time, I've just been using Canva. So I just kind of have a base template that's got my face in it. And all I would really do is just add text and maybe some logo or whatever. and I'll call it a day. When I first started out, I actually used AI to just generate these female robot avatars and use those in the thumbnails. So I then just kind of moved over to Canva, and I would just kind of have an image of myself and create the thumbnail this way. But more recently, I started just using AI to generate the thumbnails for me as well. And yes, before you guys swear at me, I did try using thumbnail designers on many, many occasions. I've had several people that I've worked with, and it just never really panned out. And paying someone to create thumbnails is not cheap. And if your video underperforms, it's a real financial knock. So what I'm trying to do recently is to use ChatGPT with image 2. So what I would do is upload reference images of myself. And if I'm covering some kind of brand like, I don't know, Claude, I would also upload the logos of that brand as well. So let's say for this video, I want to create a thumbnail where I'm holding the play button and, just put the text, thank you. What I can do is grab an image, pass it to ChatGPT, and it's say, please create a YouTube thumbnail where I'm celebrating reaching 100,000 subscribers. In this thumbnail, you can use my avatar and let my avatar hold the 100,000 subscriber play button. Please add the channel name to the play button. Please also add the text thank you with the thank on the left-hand side and the text you on the right-hand side in big, bold letters. All right, let's send this. And that's it. I might actually use this thumbnail in this video. Now, of course, recording is super easy. I've got this microphone that I use, I've got my webcam, and for recording, I'm just using good old-fashioned OBS. So I'll just kind of record my screen as I'm using Claude Code or whatever I'm doing, and that's really it. Then I do edit all of my videos myself. I tend to make a lot of mistakes that you guys don't see. So I, cut out all the quiet parts, all the bad takes. So this is a video that I just did today. Let me just show you sort of the intro and what that actually looks like. But I found myself using Codex and the GPT models more and more. Now, that's just cringe. And I wasn't even sure if I should show you guys this, but this is really what it looks like. And it's not easy, looking into a camera, trying to talk naturally, getting the point across. I make a lot of mistakes. Also, English isn't my native language, so I really have to think twice about what I need to say and how to say it. So there are a lot of silent parts. There's a lot of dead space that needs to be cut out as well. So for cutting out all the dead space and silent parts, I like to use this program called Recut. I'm not sure if it's free. I think I did have to pay for it. But all you do is you just kind of drop your video file into this. So basically all of these sort of pink parts are going to be cut out in the final version, which only leaves me with the sections where I'm actually saying something. And then for editing the video, I use DaVinci Resolve. I am using the paid version of DaVinci Resolve. I think it's called DaVinci Resolve Studio, but the free version is really good as well. I actually know of a lot of content creators who only use the free version and they've never had to pay for it at all. But what I do like about the paid version that you don't get with the free version is some built-in AI capabilities. So, after I've edited the video, I can get it to automatically generate subtitles. Now, traditionally you would kind of have to go by hand and add all of these subtitles yourself manually. But this actually makes it really easy. So you just go to Timeline, AI tools, and create subtitles from audio, and it will just analyze the audio track and create these subtitles for you. And if you really want, you can even add like beautiful filters. So under titles, subtitles, you can add any of these effects on top of the subtitle track, and then it kind of looks something like this. So I really like this. One feature I also really like is the audio assistant. So I'm not really good at doing audio mixing. You can definitely do your own mixing in DaVinci Resolve as well. So you've got the audio bus here. You can add effects, voice isolation. You can play with the levels. It's definitely all there, but I really suck at it. So I like to just go to AI tools, audio assistant. You tell it for which platform it's supposed to mix the audio for, and it will just kind of analyze the track and use an AI assistant to mix the audio on your behalf. So that is really my workflow. Thank you for being such an awesome community and for all the support and beautiful messages. When I started this channel 3.5 years ago, I never thought I would get to this point. I remember being so excited when I got my first 100 subscribers, and people don't understand how hard it is and how intimidating it is to have people watch your content and you're constantly wondering, what are people thinking? Is this good enough? Am I going to tank? Are people going to think I'm stupid? I hate listening to my own voice while editing these videos. It's so scary to put yourself out there. But since then, I was able to quit my full-time job as a software engineer, and now I'm doing exactly what I love to do. I'm creating content, I'm teaching people, I've got a community with people that I love to interact with, and just being able to talk to you and the community members, people who have the same passion. I love taking on clients, I love taking on sponsors, and I absolutely love what I'm doing with this channel, and I'm proud of what I've done. I'm proud of my friends and my family and my wife who's been supporting me through this, who's been very patient with me and my addiction in creating this content. So again, from myself, from the Van Zyl family, we thank you for an amazing time and for this massive achievement. Now go and build something lekker.